What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. Today, at the request of the man who edits these videos, we're cracking open for the first time our copy of The First World, Realm of the Fae, and we're going to talk about Magdh. If you have any requests for this series or any of the other series, as always, throw in the comments. And today, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by the man who edits these videos, Mr. Kane Smale of the Inn of Planar Crossroads, because frankly, I probably don't talk him up quite enough. Kane, dude, thank you so much for all the help you do for the channel. We literally would collapse under our own weight without you.
You're welcome.
And I'm not just saying this because you're about to get more videos.
Damn it.
Because, Paizo's noticed us. Though, of course, now I'm sure that's all you believe, but really though, you're beautiful. Thank you, my friend. Let's dive in. So, in Greek mythology, fate is any of three goddesses who determine human destinies, in particular, the span of a person's life and their allotment of misery and suffering. They're spoken of in the singular and as an impersonal power, and sometimes its function is interchangeable with Olympian gods. From the 8th century BC on, however, the Fates were personified as three very old women who spun the threads of human destiny. Their names were Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Clotho spun the thread of human fate, Lachesis dispensed it, and Atropos cut the thread, which of course determined the individual's moment of death. Fate in Pathfinder takes the form of Magdh. But before we can talk about Magdh, as this is our first jump into the world of the Fae, first we should actually probably talk about the Eldest. The Eldest are the gods of the First World, which literally was the first world that the gods created and eventually abandoned. When they did so to focus their attentions on the material plane, as well as the cycle of souls, because in the First World, if you die, you're just reincarnated. Of course, it left behind a power vacuum. The Fae were not unlike children abandoned by their parents, and like those children, they fought and despaired in hopes that an authority figure would appear to make them stop. Into that void stepped the realm's most powerful remaining residents, so powerful that they might as well have been gods themselves. Hashtag level 20 PCs. Seeking all the same boons they had drawn by the faith of their original gods. Safety, belonging, knowledge, power, etc., etc. The common Fae not only served these great beings, but worshipped them, and in time, these powerful Fae learned the trick of granting spells to their worshippers, hashtag mythic tears, and so the Eldest became gods in truth. Magdh herself is the patron of foreknowledge, and the complications that arise from it. While other Eldests focus on gathering or controlling secrets, time, or forbidden information, Magdh watches the endless tangled lines and interplay between rippling realities, following chains of events back to their origins and into strange culminations on distant planes. She is seer among seers, the mother of paradox, and even the other Eldests sometimes beseech her for interpretations of her maddeningly opaque visions. For it is said that in her forest pools, Magdh has glimpsed the ends of all things, including the Eldest themselves. Often known simply as the Three, Magdh takes the form of a robed humanoid woman with three faces set equidistantly around her head. The hair around these faces turns black, red, and blonde, and of course these faces swivel to address the object of their attention at seemingly random intervals, sometimes even mid-sentence. Though not actually a collective consciousness like some of the other gods in this pantheon, Magdh's faces appear to represent different aspects of her personality, though not always the same one. A supplicant who notices the red-haired face radiating maternal affection in one interaction might attempt to curry favor with it the next time, only to find it personifying rage or humor. Break out the He-Man. We've found many faces. When necessary, Magdh has even been known to split into three separate women in order to accomplish some task, yet the Eldest often seems reserved or less lucid for a time following these separations. She often embarks on meandering diatribes about the recursive nature of reality and the effects of small changes over time. No one has ever got a straight answer as to what goal Magdh herself seeks to further. The popular belief that her efforts alone protect the First World from some grave cataclysm prevents many creatures in the First World, including the other Eldest, from interfering with her, as well as her minions, and sometimes Magdh herself can even be found traveling with her retinue on errands of special importance. Magdh herself is lawful neutral. Her domains are knowledge, law, luck, and rune, with the subdomains curse, fate, thought, and wards. Her favored weapon is the scythe, and her holy symbol, a green, three-pointed knot. As of First World Realm of the Fae, Magdh, of course, has her own obedience, but only one set of boons. Boo that. I guess we're gonna have to whip up 2 more, aren't we? To perform her obedience, of course, paint 2 dots above each ear to represent Magdh's 3 sets of eyes. Cast leaves, bones, coins, things of that nature into a bowl of clean water and attempt to divine meaning from the way they land. In return for this, you gain a +4 bonus on intelligence-based skill checks. Yeah, sure, not bad. Evangelist boons grant us Identify 3 times a day, Augury twice a day, or Clairaudience, Clairvoyance once a day. At level 16, you constantly see a few moments down your own line of fate, and thus are never surprised or flat-footed. In addition, you gain a +2 insight bonus to AC and on reflex saves. And at level 20, you can cast Prediction of Failure once per day. Exalted boons grant us True Strike 3 times a day, Bungle twice a day or once a day, Borrow Fortune. At level 16, in your hands, the scythe becomes as inexorable as fate itself. You gain a +2 insight bonus on attack and damage rolls with the scythe, and all critical threats are confirmed. At level 20, Magdh grants you insight into the fates of your enemies, and these fates become tangible things that you can cut as easily as thread. In your hands, a scythe has a base threat range of 19 to 20, and of course the stacks with abilities like improved critical, the keen enchantment, and so on, and a number of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum 1. When you critically hit an opponent with a scythe, you can attempt to sever the threads of their fate. Your target must attempt a DC 10 plus half your level plus your intelligence modifier, will save or die, disappearing into nothingness as their souls cease to exist. Their gear, of course, is unaffected. On a successful save, your target is instead staggered for a number of rounds equal to your intelligence modifier. Sentinel boons grant us protection from chaos 3 times a day, twice a day aid, once a day prayer. At level 16, your understanding of fate has led you to an understanding of the universe, and it allows you to manipulate your own fate. You gain the Fate's Favored trait, in addition to any trait you might already possess, and at level 20, you become Fate's agent on the material plane. And lesser magic that would stop you from achieving your goals instead serves to aid you. You also gain access to powerful fate-altering magic. Any effect that would cause you to take the lower result of any 2 dice rolls causes you instead to take the higher of the 2, and you gain the Fortune, Misfortune, and Cackle hexes as a witch of your level, using your intelligence modifier to determine DCs. Now, Magdh, of course, is lawful neutral, which means she's within 1 step of lawful good, which means, of course, she gets a Paladin code that we've brewed up right here. I actually didn't realize that Magdh was lawful neutral. I thought she was true neutral going into this. So this time it's not Michael Baker, this time it's Tommy Gaddy that's whipping these up for you. If you think he can do them better, or if you're Michael Baker and obviously can do them better, throw in the comments. Magdh's Paladin code goes like this. I am an agent of fate. The destiny of all things has been predetermined, and I will never stand in the way of that destiny, unless not doing so would cause a greater disruption of fate. I shall never question the true divinations that I receive, for they are the Three's way of speaking to the world. I shall see to it such divinations are carried out. If Magdh calls for my aid on her quests, I will immediately answer. To travel with the Three is the greatest honor. Those that would produce false divinations, cheat fate, or otherwise alter the course of events will be put down swiftly and without mercy. And of course, as of Planar Adventures, the ante's been up. Divine gifts exist that are handed out at GM Fiat. For Magdh, the character can cast Divination as a swift action 3 times per day, with the correct divination occurring 100% of the time. Now, I've kind of GM'd for a player that worshipped Magdh. It was a tournament setting, and we didn't really talk about it that much. We did a little bit. And I soon will have the honor of standing alongside that player, that character. Man, I am just really talking up my editor today. At the Inn of Planar Crossroads as we kick off Broken Universe alongside Cashew, Agent of Fate. Yeah, you heard that name right. It's going to be amazing. And follow this card right up here if you're into Pathfinder playtest live plays, because why aren't you? We should be kicking off real soon. The session 0 was yesterday, so we'll get there, and you don't want to miss it because it's going to be amazing because Kane plays that character really, really well. Lots of flipping coins, rolling dice, things of that nature to determine decisions, and you never really have to think about anything. Just if X, then Y. If A, then B. If C, then 1, etc., etc. You are simply an agent of fate. You need not question these things. You just, well, you do them. Why? Because fate said so. And everything's kind of arbitrary in that sense because at the end of the day, everything's going to end up the way it's going to end up. Our threads will be spun, our threads will be cut, and as mere mortals, is it not just our job to accept that? So, man, everything that I stand for is going against that, and we should change our fates always, but not from the point of view of the worshipper of Magdh. This also is a one-way ticket to the first world, which is where the Fae come from, the gnomes come from, the Eldest, again, come from. In Pathfinder, it's a wonderful, wonderful place of existence, and when you think Fae, you think magical fairyland. No, not the case. Way deeper than that. I definitely encourage you guys to check it out, and we'll certainly make a video about it on our Friday series at some point, but that's all we got for today. What do you guys think about Magdh? Would you worship her? Would you use her in your campaigns? And have you ever gone to the first world for any of your games? As always, throw it in the comments. We'll keep the conversation going. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship, where we complete that 4-part core deity series that we've been talking about for a while, and covered by very, very popular request, Desna, next Wednesday.